Spider Islands. All right, so we are X Luna X. Let's get into it. All right, so let's find out where we are. We're on attack. We've got Strange, we've got Groot, Hela, and then Cloak and Dagger and Luna. So we should be playing like a fairly brawly comp, right? Like Groot and Strange are just going to kind of brute force their way through things. Hela's going to take an off angle and look for picks. We're playing against Wolverine and Moon Knight. Let's see, we got Penny Parker, Jeff, Strange, and Loki here. It's kind of a rough one for Scarlet Witch too. So kind of your general game plan, right, as Scarlet Witch is you want to be looking to put yourself at an off angle or on like a soft flank, like a flank that you can easily get out of with your cooldowns. Something like this where you're like not fully committed, you can still just kind of back out. We're kind of looking for those sort of angles, but we are looking to make sure that we have our all four of our right clicks up. Our right clicks do, I think it's like 35 on splash damage and 75 on direct hit. So it's really not that bad. If you can hit your right clicks, you can get a nice pick. I think a lot of it is just setting ourselves up in positions to be able to get those right clicks off before we get pushed off. Cutting off teammates with the stun ability, right? And then farming off the tanks to get our right clicks up before we try to kill somebody else. So probably off the start here, I would have come out and just immediately gone into this doorway, right? You've got your two dashes out. So let's back it up just a little bit. So as everybody's coming out, they've got the Penny Parker mines. They're kind of set up here, right? If we come through the door, we've got Moon Knight right here. What happened to Doctor Strange? Did he really get that damage that quick? What is... Oh, he just took that much damage looking through the portal. What's going on, Zeph? Nice to see you. Sorry, I was so confused what was happening with that Strange there. Why he was coming back into the fight 1 HP. Anyways, yeah, so we can go into angles like this, right? Let's assume that the Strange is not back here right now because that's not where they're going to be most of the time, right? Let's say they're up there. Say we've got Moon Knight, and then Shark ends up coming back here in a second, right? Especially with the Moon Knight just out by himself right here, you can pretty easily get those three right clicks off, and burst him down. And even if you miss 3 and you only hit 2, you can get the left click and kind of finish him off, right? So putting yourself at these off angles is just going to give you a better chance of finding a pick. Since you're not doing much damage to the tanks, right? Your abilities aren't super fast, so it's hard to get a pick when the shields drop and stuff like that, like a Hawkeye and Hela. Your best bet is really kind of trying to be close, not up in their face, but close and at an off angle so you can hit those shots and then just get out, right? You're kind of like a backline disruption character. You don't want to be a hard flank, but that's where you want to be playing from for sure. Let's see. I like that we take the high ground here. I think we probably could have stayed the high ground, right? Like I was saying, you get most of your value off of being those off angles. We're gonna talk about it this whole map. Yeah, I understand wanting to get the penny mines down. It's just not really where you get value as a character, right? Like your left click does 30 damage a second or something, and your right clicks on a cooldown that you have to build back up. So you have to use a lot of resources to break those penny mines versus everybody else that can just kind of burst it down, right? So I think you're better off just not even wasting your time with it, unless it's a serious problem, right? If nobody else is shooting the penny mines, then yeah, we got to go for it. But I think in general, that's not something that Luna should be worrying about, because then you're going to be wasting cooldowns that you should be using in other situations, right? If we use it to break the penny mines, then we don't have it to pick the Loki that's out of position or whatever. We did start a little early, Zeph. I like that we're just walking on him here. We're not super worried about cart. So let's see. Let's back it up a little bit. I like the play that we go for here. I think probably instead of just floating ourselves up in the sky like this, first off, let's see. When do we take damage? I probably would have waited and healed up before going on that push, right? We always got to keep an eye on our health bar. Going in at, let's see, yeah, 120 HP, so we're at half HP right now. Yes, Zachary, the only thing I plan on doing tonight is reviews, probably. That's usually what I do over here on the late night toke. Last night we were getting into some other fun stuff, and some nights we definitely will too, but mostly getting into the reviews. Yeah, most nights. Oh, that was not my water. Oh, that was not my water. Okay. So yeah, I would have waited until we're full HP here. Let me find you. And then let's see. We also don't have all of our bursts ready. That's another thing that we need to be looking for. If we're going to be going on a backline play, we want to make sure we have all of these, because this is where our damage comes from. If we're trying to just left click somebody to death, they're going to win that duel every time. Even like a Luna Snow, or a good Loki, or a good Adam Warlock, whatever, they're going to win that duel because they just straight up do more damage than you do. But your right clicks are where you're going to get your damage from. So going into a situation like this, let's say that we're full health, right? We've got the Loki up here who's healing people. We've got the Moon Knight. Probably want to be focusing down the healers first in most situations, right? If they die, everybody else dies first. So this is where we're going to get into our first use of stun, right? We've got our stun ability. I really don't think it's that great, but it has a couple of use cases that I think are pretty solid. One of those is in a situation like this. Say we're full, we'd wait until full health, right? We still haven't taken any damage since we went on this attack, right? So if we were at 250 HP, we could have gone up here instead of fighting back down with the tanks. We could have gone up here, and we could have popped our stun on both these people here. We don't worry so much about the Moon Knight first. We take out the Loki if we can, and then if we have any shots left over or the Moon Knight is getting low health, then we can maybe left click him down, right? But we get that stun out just to make sure that we're not taking in a ton of damage. We focus down one of the targets, and then we use our dash to get out. Or if we've got, I think a Moon Knight you could probably stay there and poke at for a little bit, right? He's not going to one-shot you, but be ready to get out, right? You don't have any abilities that grant you healing back. You don't have, you don't have a big damage ability or anything like that. So really you're just looking for that one pick, that disruption for a second if you can, and then we're going to get out. And then the rest of the team, of course, gets eaten by Jeff because he's Jeff. What else would happen with the team? I like using the shift there, since we know he's got to kind of come around that corner, right? That's one of the other use cases of the stun, is whenever we know that the flankers are looking for a certain angle on us, we can just put that there, and then that angle is just inaccessible for a while. I think that's a solid use of it. Gives your backline a little bit of help, right? Especially if you're in comms, or if we're using pings, and we can kind of tell them, hey, like, we've only got so much time before this is a problem again, but at least you've got time to deal with it. I like that we go push the Moon Knight off the high ground there. Here, let's go look at it from your POV. So again, we don't really want to be initiating with ooh. That's some gross static. I apologize for that. It was just some weird game glitch, I guess. I like pushing up here, right? But we do want to try to have all four of our right clicks available. We only had 2 of them whenever we were going up there. We got 1 more as we were getting up. But we don't want to initiate with that left click. It does awful damage. What we want to be doing is flying in. And like as we're coming down on him here, we want to be firing the right clicks instead of trying to get those right clicks for the far damage, right? Like, it's a slow projectile. It's hard to hit at range like that. It's so much better to save it for if we go up and we dive him, and then we've got 3 right clicks, which if we hit all 3 of them is enough to kill a Moon Knight. Let's go back and look at that a little bit closer. So I think first off, probably wouldn't be spending too much time on the Loki clones unless there's just not anything else we can be doing. I think in general, again, that's just not really your job, right? A Hela can dink that in 2 dinks and it'll be over with, but you've got to spend 6 seconds, or you have to spend significant cooldowns to take care of this clone. So I don't think it's really something that you should be super worried about. Probably would be better off, like, let's see. So we chase Moon Knight off here. I probably would be trying to get on this high ground over here just so we can pick on the backline a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it legitimately, it may be worth going into your character settings and swapping your right click and your left click, because truly your left click is your left click is your primary damage. Your left click is where you're going to get most of your value from. I know the left click is nice because it tracks, but your right click does like 75 on direct hit. It does double the damage of your left click, just, you know, and quicker, honestly. Yeah, for sure, Zeph. We do see that here in a second. But I think we've got to be utilizing that cooldown more. But yeah, whenever we get in this close range, we're just spamming them back and forth. I think that's the right play. Try to help to get the kill in the Agamotto. So let's see. We're up 2 right now. We've got 2 coming back from spawn. So we're about even technically, I guess. See, while your team's got this whole fight going on over here, there's not a whole lot that is a threat to you, right? We have our cooldowns to get down or to get out if we need to. Let's see what damage abilities we've got. 3 of our right clicks. I would not have been dealing with this Loki at all, right? We've got the actual Loki right over here. So even if we don't kill him, we can at least get him to stop looking at his team, stop healing his team, and help them secure the kills a little bit faster, right? That's one of the big things about those flankers, or the soft flankers especially, is you're not always going to get the kill, right? You're not always going to get the pick. But if you're being a distraction, you're being a nuisance to the back line, then the enemy team is still not getting heals, right? If Loki is having to deal with you, then he's not healing Groot, and Groot dies faster. So I don't terribly hate the ult, right? As you get into the higher ranks, it's really not a super great ult. People can usually back up around it if you're not playing it super great timings. So a lot of times you do want to use it to make space or keep people from wanting to enter an area. I do think we probably already had this fight won though. Like, I think if the cart was like, on this corner still, I think then we could have used that as a zoning tool, right? But I think probably just with the way the time played out, I think we probably could have saved that one. We're duoed with the mag, okay. Nice call, Zeph. Yeah, during your ult. Or just in general, but especially during your ult, you can have him bubble you like 2 seconds into it. That way you don't die. It's a nice duo to have. So I like shooting at the penny stuff there, right? Like we're not really going to get any other value anywhere else. So I don't mind that at all. I think probably we want to be setting up towards this high ground if we can, just for whenever the next team fight inevitably happens. I think that's probably where we're going to want to be, either that or depending on how far they push up, we might want to be playing around this door. Or everybody just gets eaten by Jeff and we have to reset. That's a real possibility too. That makes sense. I think your ultimate's not bad, right? It eviscerates people. It deletes them off the map. So it's scary. It demands respect. And so if you use it in situations like, say we're fighting on this corner, right? Oh, we're in an ad. Hold on. We'll wait. So Zeph, you were sleeping, you said? That's good. You need to be sleeping more often. for a little bit. You suppose? You mean you suppose you need sleep? That doesn't make sense. I think scientists have like decided that we need sleep. We don't survive without it. So I've been told. We can't survive without ranked. If I don't have ranked, I won't survive. I feel it. I played a lot of ranked today. Plat sucks so bad. Yay, just a person advice. Okay. I think ad break is over here. So we were talking about Wanda's ult. I think your best use cases are either you try to be super sneaky with it, right? Okay, cool. We're back from ads. I think with Wanda's ult, we either want to try to be super sneaky with it, right? You got to like set up behind a corner or have an invisible woman that'll put her invisibility up and you ult inside that or something like that. That's the way you're going to get your best value out of it or kills out of it. That's the best way you're going to get kills out of it. I think the best way to grind or to use your ult is to make space. So whenever you pop your ult, people have to respect it. They have to get out of the way. If they don't, they will die. So if you're going into a choke, right, and your team has to take this angle, then one thing you can do is you can pop out your ult like over here, right? Especially if you got the Magneto, we can pop right here. We can get the bubble, and then everybody that's behind this Doctor Strange has to scatter away to try to stay alive. Like Doctor Strange can use his shield, right? Or he can walk off to the side, or he might even be blocked by the bridge. But everybody else is going to have to move, and so you're creating space for your tanks to move up and take this space, and then also cutting people off. You're not always going to get that cut off, but if you can, right, then you're just getting extra value out of it. Your team might be able to burst down Strange while his healers are hiding in a corner somewhere. So that's really when we want to be using our ult. I think that's when we're going to get the most value out of it. What rank are you at, just a person? What did you D-rank to? So again, I know we're gonna go over a lot of the same stuff over and over. I want you to see it in as many different use cases as you possibly can, right? So if we're playing on the off angle here and we've got our cooldowns up, Shark's kind of a free target for us, right? He melts pretty easy. He's a big target to hit with those right clicks. At the very least, we can push him from just directly healing his tanks, and he might get popped down by Magneto ult and whatever else is going on, right? So just thinking about those soft flanks that we can get value on. We don't want to commit to the backline, right? We don't really have the sustainability to be back there. But if we can be a nuisance while still having a nice form of escape with our shift, that's where we're going to get our value from. So we farm up our thing here, right? We make sure we've got all of our right clicks ready, and then we take that off angle and just try to burst somebody down with those right clicks real quick. I bet he did jump off the map, Zeph. Oh, so I want to see. Oh no, not the tree. Brutal. I like that we popped the stun for the penny thing. I think that's kind of the other way that we can use stun, right? Is you can kind of use it to disrupt the timing on the tanks, especially if you're playing against like a Doctor Strange or a Magneto. if your tanks are kind of playing around that choke, right, everybody's kind of fighting around this corner, you can pop your stun like right here, and it can really throw off the timing of the tanks, and it can help your tanks kind of finding an opening. So that's another place that we can be looking to use our stun, especially if we're playing kind of brawly like we are, right? Your team can get a lot of value out of that, I think. Yeah, definitely want to be finding those off angles more. That's where you get your value from, is finding a target that's out of position or an off angle on a support and getting those 4 right clicks off as quick as you can on them. Just try to burst them down. You know, like we said, we don't really have any self-healing. All we have is our invisibility to get out. So we can't really hard flank. We can't stay there too long. But we want to be looking for those angles and trying to get those quick picks. It's very much a balancing game, I think, with Scarlet Witch, because you do still have to, charge up your right clicks first, right? You've got to make sure that you've got those on lock. So either we're holding them the whole time that we're coming out, right? We're going to go find our angle and we're going to have all 4 shots, or we're going to go front line here for just a second, right? We're going to go with the team. We're going to charge up. And then once we've got our 4 shots, then we can be comfortable going on those off angles. It's a big balance of both. Nice. Yeah, just like that. See, we get in. We're bursting down. I think we should have focused the Moon Knight down first instead of focusing Penny Parker down first. She was kind of being looked at by a lot of people, but that's just a target. You know, we learn target priority the more we play a lot of the time. But we have all of our right clicks charged going into here, so we burst him down, right? And then as we get into that close fight, we just start spamming them back and forth. As soon as anybody else starts looking at us besides our original target, we just kind of get out of there. If you're playing against only 2 people, right, if it's just Moon Knight and Shark there, then you can maybe throw down stun before you lose too much health and maybe we get 1 more pick there. But that's definitely the kind of game plan you're looking for. So you're taking those off angles. That was a good ult. I liked that one. I think we probably could have gone this way with it. But I think the use case was good for it. Saggy, I don't think I'll ever put respect on Jeff's name unless it's like a Joe RKM Jeff. Outside of that, I have a pretty hard time putting respect on Joe's name or on Jeff's name. Nice. I like the shift to get out. I think we probably could throw our stun up there, but I don't know that I would be trying to duel up there too much. We can get a little value and then get out, but our options of getting out are not great, right? Like we kind of just have to come down here. If we come out anywhere else, we're gonna come out of our invisibility and get killed. So I think playing up here is a little bit risky. Definitely want to be making sure that they're not coming out here. I think we would be putting our stun up here and locking it down that way, and then just kind of keeping an eye on it if we need to, throwing those right clicks up this direction. I think on maps like this, or like this part of the map, you're going to want to play much closer with the team. there's not going to be a whole lot of angles that you can get that are going to be safe, right? When you're looking for those soft flanks, the big thing that makes it safe for you is being able to see like 1 or 2 people on the enemy team and not have 6 people look at you. I don't really think Scarlet Witch counters flankers all that well. Obviously it's nice to have the extra damage, right? To keep them alive. But I think Scarlet Witch just isn't really the answer for it. She doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I guess you've got your stun. I guess just in general, I don't think of her as that kind of character, but I guess it could work that way. Wolverine in general should be more focused on your tanks than your backline. But I think if we're really having a hard time with somebody on our backline, right, then we could do that. But I think it would just be better to swap characters, honestly. I think Namor, or even like going Bucky or something. I know our aim's not great, right? Like we said, or I think you said that may have been somebody else's that I saw. But if we can just get the hook timing down, that disrupts flankers a lot. I just don't think that Scarlet Witch provides enough of a threat to most of them to push them off, right? Like, you're not going to do so much damage so fast that Wolverine can't still get his kill, I think. I think that's better off left to somebody else on the team. Probably should be Magneto, honestly, in this comp. We've got our Groot that's kind of frontlining. Our Magneto should probably be watching the back line here. I just think, if we're playing against a Magic, right, Magic's getting her self-healing back. Black Panther's getting self-healing back. Psylocke's just really hard to hit because of her dashes. I think we're just not doing enough damage as Scarlet Witch to really help the backline survive that, right? I just think we're better off trying to get picks on their backline to kill their team off first. Let Magneto bubble our backline. He can use his right click to push him around. Magneto's a really good off tank, I think. He can play that defensive role for the backline super well. So I think that's what I would probably be calling for as the duo. If the backline is getting eaten up by somebody, then Magneto probably is going to just do more for them than you will, right? Obviously, if we're just getting ran over, then yes, we should focus the backline or the flankers. But I think in general, it's not your job. Let's see, what is Wolverine even at right now? So he's 10-8, so he's been doing some work. I don't think he's been a menace though, right? Like y'all have pushed the cart fairly solid up to this point. Also, if they have no healers or the backline is distracted, right, then they can't keep Wolverine up. So just another thing to think about there. Yeah, see how like we're doing all this damage to him, right? We're left clicking him, we're right clicking him, but because he's got his healers on him and because he gets so much just health buff, we're just not actually getting any value there. I think that was a solid push though. I think the team plays well together. We didn't see a lot of staggering or anything like that, which is really good.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Oh, I just saw the Sharks' names. Holy shit. Oh, that's bad. I'm not even going to say that one out loud. That's really bad. Let's move on. Yeah, that was rough, Red. I didn't notice that till now.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Goober the God, arguably worse. So I like how for the most part, whenever we are frontlining, we're using that combination of left click and right click spam. I think it's probably the right choice to play with your team here, right? Their spawn is right here, so there's not really any safe flanks to go on. So I think in situations like this is the right play, right? Whenever they're just coming up on spawner, we don't really have a safe poke. Like if we're poking from right here and we go back to over here, we're still not entirely safe. So I think playing with the team here is a good choice. It's really just finding that balance of, am I going to be safe on this flank? Am I going to be able to get out and get to my team? If yes, then let's go on it. If we can't find a flank in the area where we are that meets that criteria, if we can't get out with one use of our shift and be safe, then we probably shouldn't be playing there. That's probably just the general rule of thumb. Obviously, there are going to be random use cases map to map, but I think staying alive is one of the biggest parts of the game, right? we can't get any value if we're not alive. So we definitely want to be looking for safe flanks. I think anything around here, definitely best to just be playing with the team. So probably, I don't hate the ult idea. I think probably what we should have done, let's see. So we're down one right now. I think we've got one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're down one. I think I probably would have waited until the team's kind of regrouped, either around this corner or even a little further down the bend. We don't really have anybody that's looking at us, right? Like I don't think anybody. Maybe Moon Knight knew we were there, but I don't think anybody was like in the process of chasing you down. So I think we could have waited just a little bit longer, at least until they're in a team fight or something, so maybe we get a little bit of value out of it. You're good at getting out of those Jeff ults. I like that. Thank you for the hydrate, Cosmo Scott. How are you doing tonight? Unfortunately, we just get chased down. Nothing we can do about that. I do think you do a really good job of escaping things with your shift, right? Sauce sucks. Coming in here with that kind of energy, RKM. Holy cow. Now, boys. Not in the chat. Take it to Discord. Nice. I think that's a super good play. I think one thing we can definitely be looking to do as Scarlet Witch is pushing the enemy out of those off angles, right? So we've got Moon Knight that's kind of just sitting up here on his own. We go in, we dedicate a couple right clicks, some left clicks, and just push him off that angle. Even if we don't stay here, right? Just pushing him off that answer or that angle, keeps him from getting value, right? So I definitely think that's a thing we can be looking to do as well. A lot of times that can also set us up on the flank, right? You can get, say we've got a Moon Knight that's playing up here and we take this angle from him, and now we've got the super advantageous angle where we can rain down on their team as they come through the choke. So anytime we can be pushing off solo DPS or even a healer that might be playing alone, it's more rare as you get in the higher ranks, but occasionally you'll see it. Anytime we see somebody just playing by themselves, we can definitely go on them if we've got all of our right clicks. If we don't have our right clicks, we should charge those up first. But if we have our right clicks, then we can be pushing those off angles, helping the team make a little space there. Oh, unfortunate. Broken Moon Knight ult, bro. Every time.
There they are. You're halfway there. Keep going. Like the Tokyo I remember, but it's amazing. Fear best self. Huh. You are under my spell. I like the cool. That's better.
I like that one. Making space for the tanks to get in, right? That's kind of what I was talking about. Just forcing everybody off of the choke for a second to let our tanks take a little bit of space. I think that's a good way to use our ultimate. I think probably here we could be playing inside the house, especially since we've got the health pack here. We can kind of be harassing the Loki a little bit. We can be harassing the Moon Knight a little bit. I really wouldn't try to get into a 1v1 with the Wolverine. He out damages you pretty hard. What did we die to? Oh, we died to the Wolverine. No? Okay, just bursted down by a little bit of everything. We died because we got carried away by Wolverine. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with him. He puts you down pretty hard. Violence in the chat is entertaining. We need to have a Wednesday night fights on the late night toke. I like that aggression there. We catch somebody out of position. We put the pressure on them. I think we get a little greedy there. We probably should have backed out a little bit. This is how Fight Club started. Yeah, I would have wanted the group kill too. Sometimes we just have to think about if we want to die for the kill. That probably would have been a fair trade. I probably would have died for the kill there too. But that is something we have to be thinking about. think this is a hard map to get defensive value as Scarlet Witch on. You really are playing frontline a lot of the time. I think, let's go back and look. I think the couple places where we are able to get flanks, we didn't spend a whole lot of team fights there. So like when the cart's on this corner here, then we can kind of get our soft flank through this building here, right? When the cart is on, this corner here, then we can kind of get our soft flanks off from over here or even further around a little bit, depending on if we've got bow shifts or not. I think even whenever the cart's over here, we can be playing on this high ground a little bit, right? Because we do have this room that we can get out of and shift out as well. I think this is a lot more linear though, right? We didn't take a whole lot of team fights in those spaces, so we didn't have time to set those up. But it's something we've definitely got to be looking for. I think that's the number one thing is setting yourself on those flanks. We don't want to be hard flanking. We don't want to be in the enemy team, but we want to be set off on those kind of deeper off angles where we can be just harassing the shit out of the back line. That's where you're going to get so much value. Make sure we've got our cooldowns up. We don't want to go in without our cooldowns. We want to be focusing our right clicks first. Just burn them all. Try to burst them down. If you hit 3, it's 250 damage, right? 225 damage. Yeah. So if we've got all 4 of those, then we should be able to burst somebody down, right? So I think working on your aim with those, getting comfortable with the timing of it is going to help you a lot. And leading with that first is going to help you secure a lot more kills. But overall, I think it was solid. I think you had a very good understanding of using your shift to stay alive. I think we saw you get out of a lot of ultimates with your shift. We could maybe be using it a little bit more proactively too, right? To take high ground and stuff like that. But overall, I think your usage of that was pretty solid. And I would probably be using your stun a little bit more. That's probably like the third big thing that I would say. Basically, yeah. That's basically the game plan. You don't have a whole lot of sustainability, right? So you want to get in. I think this choke right here is a perfect example of it that we kind of had at the very beginning of the game, right? Like on attack. Let's go back and look at it. When we're talking about having like the Moon Knight right here, right? But yeah, like always, it depends. Like we were talking about on defense. On the defense here, if we're playing all these small chokes, we're not going to be wanting to look for those flanks because they're just not safe flanks. And there's sometimes that the team is going to need us to play front line. Kind of like Iron Man. I could kind of see that. Go watch some Grandmasters, some top 500 Scarlet Witch. There are a couple of them. And just kind of see the things that they're doing. See how they're using their cooldowns. I think that's a big thing, right? I think we could be using like our stun a little bit more. We've got our cooldowns for a reason. That's not a super long cooldown, so I think we could be throwing it out a little bit more. But I think watching some top 500 play and just seeing how they're using their cooldowns on people could definitely provide some value. Seeing what situations they're choosing to play in flank versus choosing to play frontline in and stuff like that. I think a lot of the times what you're going to see is you're going to see them playing frontline for the first part of the fight, and they're going to wait until they see the enemy team in a position. They're going to wait until they see that backline in a position that they can get that flank off on. So they'll play frontline, and then whenever they notice that the healers are playing in this, we're in ads. I'm over here rambling. We're in ads. What's here, Red? What time is it? What could possibly be here? It's 11:20. Call my name and he appears. Oh ho! Ha ha! Oh ho! Are we done with ads, Rinku? Mine still says that we're going, so I'm not 100% sure. But we can back up a little bit. Okay, Rinku says ads are done, so that's all that matters to me. All right. So watching Grandmasters, watching top 500, and watching how they're using their cooldowns, right? A lot of the times, what you'll see, or what I was picking up at least, is they'll start doing damage in the front line, right? They'll start playing with their team, make sure they've got their right clicks charged up and all that, and they'll kind of wait until the enemy team is positioned in a place where you can start looking for that flank. So let's say on this map, for example, that the whole enemy team is playing on this corner here, right? They're playing really pushed up. Their healers are maybe under this bridge right here or something. We could play and we could push with the team and help them kind of take this corner first, right? Do some extra damage to the tanks, maybe break a shield, whatever, and help them push back. And then once we see that the healers are starting to push back into like this sort of position by this door here, or if we can get the high ground, you know, if they back up around the corner here, then once the enemy team is in a position where we can utilize our flanks, that's when we go on those flanks. So we don't necessarily have to start there, right? We don't have to immediately go to this door and walk over here and wait for somebody to be on our line of sight. We can kind of wait and watch until they're heading towards that direction where we want them to be, and then go set up. I think that's what I see a lot of times in the higher ranks on Scarlet Witch. I think another thing you'll see a lot with higher ranked Scarlet Witches is they'll actually look for fights with two people, and they'll put that stun down right in between the two people and try to burst one of them down and get out real quick, or duel the other one for a bit and then get out once they get tagged a little bit. But yeah, I think that's your general game plan. As look for more off angles to just be a nuisance from. If you can get the healers to look away from their tanks for 3 or 4 seconds because they're dealing with you, then that's 3 or 4 seconds that the rest of your team can kill that Doctor Strange, right? So I think that's going to be a big help for sure. But yeah, super solid. I'm definitely excited to see another. Like I said, we don't have another Scarlet Witch in the group right now, so I hope that there were some helpful things in there for you. I hope you can go to your next couple games and see some improvement, maybe see some numbers go up a little bit, and just feeling more confident in our play, right? Definitely hope to see. Definitely hope to see some more games from you in the future.